Sunglasses and no shirt is one heck of a statement. But the only statement I'm trying to make is it is goddamn hot outside. It's like 90 degrees right now and the sun's blasting. So this is how we're rolling this morning. Well, it's not really the morning anymore. It's the afternoon. But I had a few errands to run this morning, so we're starting a little bit late. But not bad because we don't got work. So we are hanging in there. And things are definitely... they've increased in intensity now. So now I'm doing 45 minutes in the morning of cardio and 45 after lifting weights. Luckily, the workout volume has not increased at all. It kind of tapered down since I started accumulating too many nagging injuries during my off season. So I anticipated it would go back up, but I'm kind of happy it's not, because I have a little bit of lingering tendon issues. And probably the worst thing to do right now while I'm super depleted is all of a sudden add like 10 additional sets of chest work or something like that. So I like where it's at. I hope the reduced volume doesn't impact my physique too much, because I built the muscle a different way, right? I built the muscle with more volume. So keeping it, I need to stay in that ballpark kind of, especially too when I'm super depleted. Like I built up all this muscle from a certain way that I trained, and I'm doing all these things a certain way. And now I had to change them and then jump into dieting down. So it could be a bit more strenuous to hold on to the max amount of muscle tissue on my frame. But also, I'm not too concerned with that. Just following the guidance of my coach, who has a gigantic track record of bringing people in absolutely fantastic conditioning. So it's not like I'm unsure of what his capabilities are. So why would I get in the way of that? I'm flat for the most part. Right now I walk without a shirt on, but generally throughout the rest of the day, I'm wearing an oversized shirt. I'm wearing an oversized shirt in the gym, and I might take it off at the end of practice posing a little bit, but I also still have a little bit of a pump and stuff, so I'm not too mentally concerned with being overly flat or concerned that the look is diminished. But I mean, I think maybe a few years ago I would have been, but I just got to trust the process here, because if I start doing stuff off script and things don't work out for me, I can't point the finger at anyone really, because if I do half of my shit and then half of what my coach tells me, who really dropped the ball? We don't know. I mean, probably me, but so if I just continue to take that step back and just let him take the reins, then it's 100% the decisions he makes that are going to impact how the performance and results look. So like if things aren't favorable, I can't really blame him too much. But also I have to consider that it is my first time going on stage with this guy training me. So if things don't pan out the first time around, we're still new at bringing me into the show at the condition I need to be at. So over time, it'll just get better because we'll be more in tune with what my body needs to do the best. But I mean, up until now, diet-wise too, like it's pretty evident what has been working for me, and I've been working with him for a very long time. So it's safe to assume that most of the same things are going to continue to apply in this cutting setting. It's just the minor manipulations along the way that are going to make a big difference by the end of the process. Because I can, like the amount of lean that I'm at right now, I'm fully capable and competent enough to get myself here, no coaching needed. But that last, even half of the process, I would say, where there's a lot of weekly, sometimes multiple times a week changes being made into the plan, I would be a lot more prone to drop the ball and not do what I'm supposed to show up in shape. Not that I would like screw off or anything, but I wouldn't know like exactly what to change. So I think I would make more drastic changes sooner than I would need to, and that would hamper my ability to be 100% on show day. So I have to acknowledge that, and that's the importance of having the coach there. I mean, especially that last 4 weeks, that's really where the game-changing moments happen with your coach, because that's the difference between getting last place and getting first place, is that last 4 weeks. So just having a good person in your camp that you trust is very imperative. And it's got to be tough too. it can't be someone you admire from social media, because all those TikTok coaches and all that, they're fucking trash. Absolutely terrible. Like Gabe Guinness and all those fucking clowns, like they have no fucking clue how to get people in good shape. And especially in the case of like guys like that Gabe Guinness motherfucker, he looks terrible. His physique is trash and he's enhanced. So, but people hire him because he has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, TikTok especially. And I mean, shit, it works for him. I'm not going to hate him for making money, but people are very foolish and they go for popularity instead of knowledge. Like my current coach now, he was very good friends with my first coach. And after my first coach passed away, it was an easy decision because my first coach had so much credibility that he wouldn't even be close friends with someone who wasn't an admirable individual. So it was not a difficult decision at all for me to pick Blue as my coach. And things have worked out even better than it did with my first coach because Blue is definitely more experienced. It's not to say my first coach was bad. It's just that Blue has that extra little level of insight that allows him to get more out of a wider variety of people than my first coach may have. And I like a lot of that. Blue emphasizes everything. Whereas my first coach, he himself was a big PED guy, but he never had any of his clients push them very hard at all. It was all very moderate. Diet was very intense. He was super strict on diet, but he seemed to have a disconnect with the importance of training. Not that he wanted you to train less than you should. It's that he would do like Dorian Yates style, low volume, low reps in these plans. And he would want everyone doing the same thing forever and say, you just got to stimulate the muscle. There's no need to change things up. And I disagree with that. I think a lot of training variables need to be changed periodically. And you need to be able to assess when to do that and the best changes to make with what you decide to swap things for. And I think that makes a profound difference when everything else is in check. So I think he was pretty dismissive of that. He also had very good genetics, so he had his own personal bias kind of at play there, because he could get away with that. He wasn't the biggest bodybuilder, but he looked damn good. And for the amount of effort he was putting into his training, which wasn't a whole ton of like progression with that, like he still made amazing progress. But he also had everything else in check, you know. He just was kind of nonchalant about the training, but everything else super strict about. So he probably got away with that with himself for like his entire career lifting, and then have worked with other people that may have at least progressed them a bit. And so it doesn't, it's like he only knows what's in his own realm of knowledge. So that's what we'd have everyone do. Whereas my coach now, very picky about all that stuff, because all of it, it's like if you start trying to lean playing cards against each other, it just looks like a little stupid triangle, like a little teepee when you first get started. But if you keep going, you're going to build a castle of cards. And each card in bodybuilding is all those little decisions that you make. So if you could repeatedly make very good small decisions frequently, it's going to add up and have a really good result for you, regardless of your genetics. Because I think I look damn good, but I am not professional grade yet. I want to be, but I have very average genetics, and I think I stand the testament here that I've had to do everything the hard way. I've had to put in additional work that others may not. It's taken me a bit longer to progress than others, but I continue to improve. And now I've locked into where I keep improving at a drastically high rate, and it keeps flooding in that way over and over and over, because I do all the small things correctly. And I think regardless of your genetics, you can make similar progress to me, similar rate and everything, if you just implement very fine-tuned, precise changes in your daily routine. Like my meals are spaced out pretty evenly. I never miss a meal. I never miss a workout. My sleep could definitely be better at times, but it's not terrible. I would not say it's 100% though. I'd say I'm about like 85% of the sleep. Sometimes I get 6 hours, sometimes I get 7. I really should be getting 8, which I do a few days of the week, just not as much as I should. And I mean, so that affects me, and it's hard to say how much it does, because like I'm not living my life as the version of me who got that sleep. So it's kind of tough to say to what degree that would have yielded a change for me, but it is absolutely necessary, and it has definitely affected my progress to some degree, whether it be significant or insignificant. So just think about that. My sleep is not perfect, but not terrible, but I continue to progress at this rate. So, I mean, it just goes to show like what you're capable of if you just do the right shit. And people suck at that. Most people suck at that. Most people are always perpetually going to be a casual. Your gym, your local gym, no matter who's watching this, your local gym, fucking full of them. They're full of those kinds of people. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the ones that there is a problem with are the ones that don't think they're casuals. They eat pizza and drink on the weekends. They don't lift on the weekends. They go to the gym like 4 days a week. They're always wanting to max out and do stupid shit. They don't really get linear progression or much progression at all. They want to do the same things every week. And they're very disappointed in how they look. That's a reality. That's the reality. And those people have excuses because everyone else must be better than them for some secret reason. But really, they just fucking suck at the gym. They suck at the gym. They suck at the lifestyle. And there's a ton of those people. And they're miserable to be around. I don't like excuse makers. Your local gym is going to be full of a ton of them. But this is what separates people that do well from ones who don't. Because most people have a problem trying to do all these things they know they should to get them in the shape they say they want to be in. So it's the few that are able to actually implement the changes in their daily life that they get the actual results out of what they're doing. And those jaded, silly, sloppy, lazy motherfuckers, they continue to go on living their lives, making excuses, and probably hating you for doing better than them. So you can look around and see all that. That's the normal. But you don't want to be normal. You want to be abnormal. You want to stand out. Maybe be competitive, but definitely stand out. And the way to do that is just never missing a meal, never missing a workout, and don't fuck up your sleep. And you should have a coach, even if you're not a competitor, just to fast track the progress. That person has either dealt with a lot of people with a lot of different problems, or they themselves have accumulated a base of knowledge because they've had to deal with a lot of problems. So they're able to fast track your progress by making you avoid the mistakes that they have by you just following their direction. If you want to get in the best shape you can, the quickest, that's your solution right there. So you should have one of those, because if you're just trying to free ball everything yourself and you think you're so smart you can figure everything out, the problem is you're learning from trial and error on your own. You're never going to get the fucking food right. Never. You're always going to jump the gun on decisions, undereat, overeat, cut too soon, bulk too soon, basically gain and lose the same 10 to 20 pounds over and over and over. And people will repeat that process perpetually unless they open their mind to wanting to learn more. And coaching allows you to have that discretion, because you're learning from them as they're telling you these things, and you could see in real time how they're working and deduce why from all the things you're being told to do. So, you're just enhancing your own knowledge and fast tracking your progress. It's the best thing to do. No matter how smart you think you are not going to objectively make the best decisions on what to do with yourself. So if you could just acknowledge that early and then outsource that to someone who you respect and trust, then you have significantly less stress in your life, more progress, and just a better, more enjoyable time lifting weights. If you keep progressing at a fast rate, you're probably going to enjoy going to the gym every day. But those guys that lift 4 days a week, if that, they've been doing the same fucking 225 for 10 on bench press in the gym for 10 years. And they have never gone up even a pound on that lift. So they're doing the same shit every time. They don't really have anything to look forward to other than trying to prove to themselves that they're the same. And that gives them incentive to skip out and not show up or try as hard, because it's already an expectation that they're not going to do well. So you can easily set a bad precedent for yourself if you go in there with the wrong head on your shoulders. But the opposite is true as well. And if you could just be a little bit cognizant, patient, calm, and understand that it is a process, and you being able to admit what you don't know is going to allow you to open your mind into the gates of knowledge with this. Just outsourcing it to someone you trust and respect is going to drastically improve your enjoyability doing an activity that you love. You got to remember, because you hear this all the time in bodybuilding, right? Everyone says it's kind of funny that you're a coach and you have a coach. I don't know why that's funny. Why? This is the only quote unquote sport that they would ever talk about that. Like even Tom Brady has a football coach. He has a quarterback coach. No one says shit about that. No one's ever once brought that up as subject matter for something that's pointless. All the professional athletes in the world, they all have coaches. But if it's for some reason with bodybuilding specifically that people think you're a fucking idiot and you don't know anything if you need a coach. It's absolutely silly. It is imperative, if you want to succeed on the grand scale, that you have a second set of eyes watching you and objectively giving you feedback on what needs to improve. You are not omniscient. You are not a third-party viewer of yourself. You are going to have bad habits and little slip-ups or things that you do that you're not consciously aware of, and it's going to take a lot of film and someone pointing things out to you for you to see the little nuances and little mechanical specifics of what you need to do to get better. So you could choose to think you're a fucking know-it-all and all this shit I said you think you could do yourself, or you could just admit that you're not the smartest person in the room and hire someone who will help you. And I guarantee you're going to have a better time once you just open yourself up to that. People don't want to be told what to do. I get it. But if you want to, if you are a complete new person in an activity, you have no fucking clue what you're doing, you need someone to teach you. All the videos and everything in the world, that's great. It's like if I read a ton of books on astrophysics and I learned all about it on paper. But if you put me in the field, I wouldn't know what the fuck I'm doing because I have not gotten the firsthand experience on how to apply any of that knowledge. So it's the same thing. You find a knowledgeable person who's going to guide you in the right direction, and you start accumulating knowledge from the right place right off the bat, and it sets you up for success long term. And long-term thinking, this is all this is. If you look at MLB, NFL, any of those professional sports, you will see stars that have been doing that sport for 20 years professionally. But if you look up the average career span of someone in the NFL, MLB, even Major League Soccer, it's about 4 years. Some of them are 2 to 4 years. 2 to 4 years is an average professional career. So they have a very limited amount of time to make their money, right? Well, in bodybuilding, it takes you about 10 years to build a world-class physique, and it's a lifelong thing. It's about 10 times longer than everything else to be world-class at, and it starts with making a lot of the right decisions early on. So if you are gonna con yourself into believing that you are not, or that you are smarter than everything in the world around you, you're never gonna fucking improve. You have to make the right decisions early. This is a lifelong thing. It's not like other professional sports. It takes a hell of a long time to build your body up. It's a 24/7 process. If I play baseball or something, when the game's over, the game's over. And when I have practice, I have practice. Bodybuilding is not like that. It's 24/7. Every meal I eat, every activity I do, every hour I sleep, it's all going in directly to this thing that I'm trying to excel at. So, food for thought, everyone. Think about it. Hire a coach. I'll see you on the next one.